All right. Good evening, everyone. Greetings. Um, can everyone hear me?
Hi, yes, we can.
Nice. All right. So, welcome to this would be the second general meeting from cohort 3. Um, so, welcome. This evening, we'll be focusing on some of the big wins that some of our players in the industry have done over the past couple months. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of things about other big wins, but that's only good, right? So we have a lot more coming up in the upcoming months. But basically, we'll be hearing from Andrew Campbell, who is a sound engineer, Successia, who is a writer, producer, and director. And she wrote Revelation, the series, and also Twain, who edited or online edited Britney versus Spears for Netflix. So excitement for sure. Um, co-chairing this meeting with me would be Wentworth. And Wentworth is our outreach director. So Wentworth.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be here. Very thankful for everybody that's turned out. We expect that this is going to be a very cool meeting, and I'm really looking forward from the presentation from the guests that we have. You know, so I turn over back to you.
Well,
To get
you can keep the mic because we're going straight into Andrew's bio.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew, you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Oh, Andrew. Oh, yeah. So, Andrew. So first of all, before we get into talking to Andrew, let me tell you a bit about Andrew. My Jafta peeps. So I'll tell you a little bit about Andrew. Andrew's sound journey started as early as his teen years, working with the church multimedia team for services each Sunday. A lot of media people got their start in church, so this is like the irony of things. He has always had a keen sense of hearing, which showed when playing various musical instruments in church, and even as being a part of a well-known music group during his time at University of the West Indies. It was also there that his love for sound was cemented, working with the Philip Sherlock Center for the Creative Arts, so all of the UA people can woot woot. Andrew was baptized in mixing and editing for both live performance and post-production. He went on to work for some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, attaining positions for some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry as well. He's currently sound and technical manager at M1, and outside of that, Andrew works with major production units both locally and overseas. And most recently, he was given the role of sound supervisor for the recently concluded West Indies cricket tour against Pakistan. Andrew, the man, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
I am, for one, very proud. But before I even get to that, I want you to answer. I have this question. I realize that you said church, and you got started in church. But did you always saw yourself as someone who would end up in sound? Let me ask you that question first.
Ending up in sound, no. To be honest, I always saw myself ending up being a professional musician. So that is kind of how I started out. I used to play. I played a few instruments growing up, and I had kind of settled on playing the bass.
Right.
And I used to always be around the other engineers at church, and that is how I got introduced to mixing.
Okay. All right, that's. I mean, sound engineer never really falls far from musician. It's like a thing. I realize. So how did you? Your genesis with sound. How did you get started in broadcast?
So I got started in broadcast when I went to work at Phase 3 Productions. And Said is actually the one who let me know that they were searching for a technician. So I started out working as an A2 there with a few other people, Said, Osman Fennel, Jimmy Lyons. Some people may be familiar with who they are. So that is how I got introduced to broadcast, as working as an assistant audio engineer on the broadcast truck.
Okay, well, that's impressive. I mean, being able to, yeah, and this was fresh out of university, I imagine.
Yeah, pretty much. I was working at Philip Sherlock at the time
Right.
as an intern. So I was doing lighting and sound engineering there at Philip Sherlock. And then I started working at Phase 3 as just what you'd call like a multi-skilled technician doing AV and sound. And then little by little, I was introduced to working on the broadcast truck.
Okay. Yeah, and I realized you said that you had a affinity for lighting as well. So why probably Sai is going to have my neck for it.
Why
the
sound?
Why sound, versus lighting?
It's just something that I found myself gravitating towards more and more, because I love music. I still love music to this day. And I, as much as I appreciated lighting and the role it plays in production, both film and live, sound is just, to me, my first love. And that is what I have always naturally been drawn towards over the years. So yeah.
All right. I was looking for something else, but I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. All right. So, for sound, in terms of sound, for the persons listening, even for film persons and for broadcast persons alike, a lot of persons don't talk a lot. We don't talk a lot about sound in Jamaica. But what are some of the roles in broadcast for audio engineer? What are some of the roles that you'll find?
Generally, on the surface, you have two main roles, where you have your lead engineer, who's termed as the A1 or sound supervisor, and then after that you have your A2, who basically assists with patching, radio frequency monitoring, all of those auxiliary tasks that you would need to get done on a broadcast audio wise. And then on larger productions, you have the A2 role can be split up to just as an RF tech, where you monitor strictly all your radio frequency, all the radio frequencies that you have, whether it's mics, IFBs. Can have a field tech who's just patching, running around. So it just depends on the scale of the production.
All right, sorry, not to interrupt you, Andrew, but remember, some of us might not know some of these terms.
I was coming. I was coming to that, but yeah, sure.
So
right.
For example, what is radio frequency and what is an IFB?
All right, so radio frequency basically refers to the oh gosh, it's just it's just the term used to describe the way that different pieces of equipment, such as microphones, communicate between themselves. So you have the transmitter, is what people talk into, and then you have the receiver, which is what sends the signal. So it is sent over a specific frequency. So the same as how you have radios in your car that pick up a signal, microphones also use radio frequencies to send the signal where they need to go. And then an IFB stands for interruptible fallback, which is I guess the easiest way to describe it, the little curly thing that you see people wearing when they're on TV, that earpiece goes into to what is known as an IFB, the interpretable fallback, and they usually can get cues from their director, as well as hear about themselves or other whatever different audio feeds that is relevant for them to be hearing at that point in time.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of information. A lot of persons are familiar with a lot of stuff that was said and don't even know that audio is like this important backbone even for video, and as a standalone, it's it's probably the one thing that really stands alone by itself, audio, and it giving video the support is just it's like having a cake and then putting some nice icing on it.
Agreed, yeah.
It is. So I'm gonna jump to the big thing, because something huge happened for you recently, and I think when I first heard, I was like, "Whoa, this is really big. This is great, especially for Yardman, for a Jamaican person." And then, I mean, I know Andrew, so right now I probably should have gotten it. At that point, I was like, I should probably get your autograph and a picture with you to let people know that I know you, because it's a big thing. You got the opportunity to be the sound supervisor on a cricket tour, West Indies and Pakistan. That's huge. I want you to tell me about it. How was your experience there?
Well, it was amazing. And then it was a lot to take in, to be honest with you. It was a lot to take in. It was personally for me, I felt like it was a big step in my career working at that level, but also coupled with COVID and how that has affected a lot of the productions that are happening worldwide. I was stuck in a bubble for pretty much that entire period, not able to leave where I was staying. Even when we came back to Jamaica for the remaining leg of the tour, I wasn't able to leave the hotel. I couldn't go home to see my wife, so just stuck with the crew, stuck with the players, moving from just where we're staying to location. But that aside, it was a really amazing experience.
Yes. So at this level now, what was your task? It said supervisor. Supervisor encapsulates a lot of things. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. What were your roles? What were the tasks assigned to you?
All right. So essentially, well, let me I guess remove some of the aura around the term sound supervisor here in Jamaica, and I guess in other areas, in other spaces. Sound supervisor is essentially your A1, who is still the lead engineer that sits behind the board, mixes, and ensures that audio feeds are going to the correct spaces. So on this tour, essentially, that was pretty much what I did. I mixed the broadcast, as well as taking care of the routing of audio within the broadcast complex.
I'm sorry, Andrew, when you say mix the broadcast, what do you mean by that?
So I'm taking in a lot of different audio feeds, like microphones on the field, such as the mics that are by the stumps, the mics on the field, such as the effects microphones, playback from replay machines. I'm also playing out the music for the show, such as the theme song, the music that you hear when graphics are on the screen, the closing theme, whatever audio feed that needs to be heard live, as well as to be routed around in the broadcast complex, comes to me, passes through my board, and I have to ensure that it gets to the correct destination.
Because you're dealing with multiple feeds, and there are other persons from different country and all that, so you have to be all these feeds. Yeah. So of course, supervisor fits, man. What are you talking about? So like a whole heap. That's a lot. And doing it at that level. I mean, doing it at that level, knowing, how did you because it's important now, because other persons are listening, maybe listening or might watch this after and wonder, all right, so first of all, this man's a Jamaican and he's a young person and he's doing it at this level. How did this opportunity come by for you?
All right, so it came through a friend of mine who probably you should know him as well, Osman Fennell, who has worked with a few of the individuals who were on the tour before.
Right.
And he got in touch with me, and basically he recommended me for the opportunity, asked if I was available, and he recommended me to them along with another Jamaican who was on the tour, who vouched for my skill set and my credibility, and said, if you need someone for the job, then here is Andrew. So after a bit of back and forth with the hiring agent, that was me heading off to go and do it.
So pretty much this was is a matter of it's consistently working at the highest level, because I know that you have worked on events, most of them, well, not most, majority of the major events that happen in Jamaica. So I know Sumfest, I know Jazz and Blues. I know you have worked on majority of these things. So you believe that these events paired with the production companies that you've worked with here prepared you for undertaking such as this?
Definitely did. I would not have learned anything that I know now without working where I have here in Jamaica, as well as not just working where I have, but also working with who I've worked with. As I mentioned before, Saeed, Thomas, Osmond, Jimmy, Dean. There's so many different names in the audio industry locally who have helped to mentor me, who have given me information. Paul Thompson. There's so many people that whose names I could call.
Right.
Who contribute daily to the level that we work at here locally, and who have contributed to my growth as well.
Oh, you don't normally hear a lot of persons thanking people like this, so I'm very happy that you're doing that. Because persons wouldn't even know some of the names you call, because a lot of persons don't really know the sound landscape in Jamaica, and it's something that needs to change. I know that we have these awesome audio talent in Jamaica. A lot of persons don't even know, so I'm very happy that you're even here to talk about your experience and to speak about the persons who have helped you along the way. I'm very happy about that. One of the other things I crossed my mind was apart from yourself, because this was an international production. Was there any other Jamaicans that were on the crew?
Yeah, man. There were 3 other Jamaicans on. There were 3 other Jamaicans on the crew. 4 of us in total: 2 cameramen, an engineer, and myself.
Okay, that's impressive. So let's go again. How many camera ops?
2 camera ops.
2 camera
one
ops.
engineer.
1 engineer.
And myself as sound supervisor.
So people, I hope you're listening. Jamaica is we have, sometimes we forget, because we feel like the industry isn't growing or it's moving how it's supposed to. But hearing Andrew speak about how many persons were on this crew from Jamaica, and Jamaica is a small country. We have to be very happy and be very proud of the amount of persons that could have represented Jamaica at that level, and this is the highest level of cricket. So I am one very, very, very proud, and I'm so happy to hear this. And with all of this, you pretty much hit the pinnacle. Well, let me say pinnacle. As far as some persons are concerned, to hit other persons sit and say, man, you sit down in front of your TV as a sound engineer, like, I'd love to mix this. You hear somebody hit the ball, and you hear the sound coming back in your headphone or in your speaker's cup, or somebody bowl and you hear the wicket, and you hear a man say, ah, and you're hearing everything, and you're like, I would love to do this. And to know that somebody who we know, like I know, because I grew up watching cricket with my father, even when I didn't want to, and then you get an appreciation for the sport, and there's so many other young guys who are doing cricket and like, man, I'd love to. I think you're one of the persons who have become a symbol of, I can do this. It's just that they have to know that they have to put in the work, because you spoke about all of the things that you went through, working with other production companies, and now even being the I know you're at M1. What's your position at M1 again?
Technical manager.
And being the technical manager presently at
M1.
M1. All of these things that you're doing at the stage you are in your life, and being a young person. Some persons think that this only happens when you get to a really older stage, and you're a young person doing this, and we are very, very, very proud of you. Very proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The other thing, so I'm going to ask you one question. You've done it. I'll say I can say you almost done it all, but there's always more to do. So, what's next for you? What's next for Andrew Campbell?
Whoa. To be honest, I just want to keep working hard, pushing myself, and doing my best to work through whatever challenges come about. I do have one goal that I hope.
Give us a bucket list. Go on.
I've given myself 10 years, and sad to say, this was not really something that I thought was possible prior to doing this, but I'm telling myself that within 10 years' time I will be working at the Olympics. So Olympics 2032 in Australia. I'm telling myself that I will be on the compound working there. So yeah.
I'm very sure that it will happen sooner.
Fingers crossed.
Other persons are listening in, and they're probably wondering how do I get into broadcast? How do I get into this part? This path that you're taking on. How could I walk the path that Andrew Campbell has walked, and probably, and do as great as Andrew, or do even more? What would be your words of admonition? How would you admonition such person? What are your words of advice?
Wow. You're giving me some heavy questions here, man. But
but listen.
I would say that step one is just be true to yourself. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. So whether it is audio, whether it's video, whether it's being a camera up, an engineer, whatever role you decide that you want to play, always put your best foot forward, and just work as hard as you possibly can. There are numerous media houses locally that do broadcast TV as well as streaming, and just work as hard as you can, and eventually the time will come where you get that opportunity.
Let me tell you again, bro. I told you this before. We're on set the other day, and I'm like, man, when I heard, I'm like, what? I'm so proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you. And I know I'm not speaking for myself. I know that the team here at Jafta, we feel very, very proud of you. And I know that every Jafta member, and there are even persons who aren't a part of Jafta, who will have to eventually bring into the fold, speaking like a preacher, of Jafta, who felt proud. Everybody feel, if you're older, you feel like you have a son who make your heart so filled with so much joy. And then if you're around your age and you just feel like, like me, I'm like, Andrew, my brother, and we just feel very, very, very proud of you, bro. So I'm really thankful that you were able to come on here and just share what you have shared with us. We are very proud of you, and we all wish you the best. And for all of these, there are trainings that we must do, both for broadcast and film, and yours. So Jafta people will be seeing a lot of Andrew's face around his. And again, thank you for being with us on here tonight, and I wish you all the best again, bro. Thank you again, and I know that everybody here is very happy and thankful that you were on it. Thanks
Yeah.
again.
Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity and sparing a few minutes to listen to me ramble. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, but thanks, bro. Said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot to take in. I know I feel very proud of Andrew, and I feel proud of Jamaica on a whole.
Yeah,
Because,
for sure.
a lot of times I feel like some of the time we forget that Jafta is also about television. And we want to make sure that everybody feels included, and we want persons to know that even in television, persons are operating at the highest level, at the highest level. And Andrew is one such person, and we want to highlight everyone that's doing exceptionally well in their field. All right, so Saeed, I'm going to turn over to you again.
Sure. So moving on from television in terms of broadcast, we're moving now more into episodics. And coming next is Cecesia Nixon Kelly. Cecesia, are you there?
I'm here. Hello.
All right.
Good evening,
So,
guys.
Hi. So let's just hear a little bit about Cecesia. Cecesia is an award-winning screenwriter, director, and film producer. She's currently the head of film and television at Icon Media Limited. She's 2 years in the film industry after the decision to transition from a law career to her passion, storytelling. She's a 2 times international independent film winner, winning gold for her directorial debut film Fair and silver for her sophomore film Unconditionally. Other wins include Best Drama in the Boden International Film Festival in Sweden and Best Drama, Best Director in the Greater Cleveland Film Festival. Cecesia is the writer, producer, and director of the limited series Revelation, which is what we're going to be speaking about today. And that's currently streaming on Digicel Playgo. So big up yourself, Cecesia. Her other film credits include short films Your Day is Tomorrow, Drowning, and Protection. She's also the co-writer of a series, Madge, currently in consideration at Showtime Network. She's also the writer on several music videos to include the likes of Shaggy, Spice, Conqueror, Sean Paul, Her, and Skip Marley. Cecesia also serves as an adjunct lecturer at the Northern Caribbean University. Wow. Your portfolio tall.
You sure that's me?
You must tell me.
Yeah, it sounds like me.
All right. So Cecesia, big up yourself on the work that you've been doing in the industry so far.
Thank you.
Today we're focusing on Revelation, this series. So if you can just give us a little bit about Revelation, what is it? Maybe a logline or a synopsis, and how many episodes there are.
So Revelation is a limited series. It's about a family struggling to find healing after they are forced to live together. Well, not live together, but be in a home 5 straight days because of a lockdown due to the pandemic. So that's Revelation.
Okay. So repeat that once more.
It's about a family struggling to find healing after they have been forced to be at home for 5 straight days due to the
Okay.
pandemic.
And how many episodes are there?
5.
5 episodes.
Mhm.
And is this your first episodic?
First episodic, yes.
So how was it? First, let's start with writing. How was it writing, and how long did it take you to do this?
To be honest, for me to explain the writing, that I'd have to go all the way back to pitching, because my partner actually contacted somebody that he knows, and he says, hey, this person is going into a meeting and we need to send them something. At the time, I didn't have anything. So it's like, okay, when is the meeting? And he says, today. So I was like, what? So I had to go to my desk, I had to sit down, and I had to think about something fast. And so I wrote a treatment, quickly sent it off to my business partner, who sent it off to Digicel, where he pitched. And Digicel liked the pitch, and they was like, okay, we're going to go ahead, but we're giving you 10 weeks to do all this. So this was something that I wrote off the fly. I didn't have any character development. I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know anything. And so it was kind of difficult for me to flesh out the story. But once I did, I just sat down and wrote all 5 episodes in 3 days.
Wow, that's definitely talent. I definitely could not do that. So I mean, oh, sorry, Catherine, you can mute your mic, please. Thanks. Yeah, I definitely could not do that for sure. So I mean, the fact that you just spit out creativity like that, that's definitely, no, that's
That's why I'm
impressive.
transitioning, Saeed.
Fair enough. All right, so I mean, I feel like one of the biggest difficulties as a creative, or even as a filmmaker, I should say, is getting that bridge between corporate and funding and making that project. How did that come about? Was that networking? Was that links, as we would call it, or was there like a step towards,
It was networking. So what happened a couple of years ago, Icon pitched to Digicel because of Scene TV. At that time, there was no Playgo. So we pitched to Digicel with the prospect of selling them content because we wanted to go into content creation. But at the time, Digicel said, nope, we don't buy content, we actually sell airtime. So we have zero interest in purchasing content. Nonetheless, we moved forward and we started doing our own content related to short films and stuff like that. And then we started doing television programs. We were the production company on Yende's Odyssey. So when Playgo came about now, we as a team decided that, okay, they have Playgo and we see where they have a local channel. So let's go back to them and find out this time if they're interested. No, my business partner contacted the associate who we maintained a relationship with from the previous years. And that's the person he contacted. And then he called me and said that person was actually going in a meeting and they needed to have a treatment. So that's why I took like 30 minutes and wrote up the treatment. And our associate, he took it to the meeting, and then Digicel was not interested in listening to us because we now have other credits to our name in terms of content creation. And so we got the opportunity to pitch properly. And at that pitch meeting, Digicel was impressed. They loved the idea, they loved the story, and they said, okay, we're going to go ahead. And because I'm familiar somewhat with corporate structures, we were able to negotiate contracts and move forward. And so we went straight into production after that.
Nice. Hashtag goals, I swear. Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of you guys and feel like I'm gonna put in the work for sure. Well, I mean, what stands out to me is that it's a relationship that you maintained. So it wasn't just like, so even though you reached out to the person years ago, you just maintained that relationship and it kind of fulfilled itself now, which I mean, I think that's really cool and really dope.
Networking and maintaining relationships are very important in the film industry, especially for independent filmmakers and especially for members in the Jamaica film industry. So networking and maintaining relationships, very important.
Gotcha. All right, so I mean, it's COVID time now, although your series is about COVID, but how was it actually going into production in a time like this? What were your difficulties?
To be honest, we never thought it would have been possible. Because here we are, we're thinking this is a big opportunity for big exposure. We can't fail. We have never done an episode before. It's a totally new ball game, different ball game from just shooting a short film. One of the things I looked at was, where are we going to shoot this thing? So I weighed the pros and the cons, and I realized that I only had 5 members between cast and crew from Kingston. So I said, okay, I'll definitely shoot in Mandeville. But then it became...
And Mandeville is where you're based?
Yes, Mandeville is where I'm based. But then in Mandeville, it became extremely difficult to find the right location because I wanted to find a location where persons could stay over, but it would still be our set because we didn't have any time to do rehearsals or anything like that. So it's basically acting camp slash movie set. So it was difficult to find somewhere in Mandeville. And after tedious search, I decided that, you know what, I'm just going to shoot it at my home. And so Revelation was actually shot in my home. We got everybody COVID tested, and then we just moved in everybody and set. And looking back, I think that was a very good decision because I had some new actors. I had 2 new actors who have never acted before. And then I had 2 somewhat seasoned actors or actors who had experience. And so I needed to see that synergy even before it go on screen. So with them being in a social setting before we actually say action was pretty good, and it worked out well for the series. Some other challenges was that because it's COVID, we had to work with a skeleton crew. We actually shot this thing with 7 crew members.
Oh,
7. We worked our fingers to the bone. Everybody had to double up. We had to be production managers and DPs and PAs and production designers, and everybody had to double up. And I mean, the synergy on set was good. Everybody got along. We stayed together for 5 straight days. We shot 1 episode per day. That was terrible, and I will never do it again.
How long is each episode? Approximately.
17 minutes, and
Wow.
episode 5 is 20 minutes. Yes.
So I imagine those are some long days.
Very long days. At one point, I thought the police was gonna come because during the night there is lights outside because we had to light night scenes as days, and then we saw the drone. But I know the police normally send drones around our community, so we got the police drones a couple nights because I'm sure they wanted to know what was going on during curfew time. So because I knew of the COVID protocols as well with curfew time and stuff, I didn't want to be on set for persons to be rushing to get home, and then they're tired and then tired to come on set the next day. So that was one of the primary reasons also why I wanted, a location that could suit everybody staying comfortably and where we could shoot.
Got you. I mean, now that you mention it, I remember after that production, I saw Wentworth, like he looked really muscular. So I feel like he was doing enough of the work.
Yeah, he did a lot of work because he was DP, grip, gaffer, and everybody.
All right. So I mean, how was you say you mentioned you had 2 new actors, but in such a short space of time, how was it to develop? Like, did you do rehearsals, or what was that aspect like going into the production and ensuring that there was synergy and everybody knew their lines and the blocking?
Boy, I have to give it up to the cast members. Jeremy Zebek Nelson, Catherine Johnson, Imran, who is very new, has never been in a movie set. When he got to set, he was like, oh, what's going on? I thought this was something that would be shot on a cell phone. All the lights and camera, he's like zoned out. And then we had Tyler Young, 2 new actors. It was a bit rough in the beginning, but in the end, we all see everybody worked together, everybody did their part. And I have to make special mention to Mark Anthony Deaton because he worked with the actors, especially the young actors. He worked with them tirelessly, early mornings before we actually start shooting and late nights after we have finished shooting. He took them into rehearsals and he worked with them, and they did extremely well.
Nice. All right. So now that you big up Mark, but you big up the actors. So one of the things that stood out to me with this series is that you had multiple directors, and this is something I usually see on like some of the US episodics. And to be honest, I don't remember ever seeing it out here. So I wanted to know, what was that like in terms of working with multiple directors to execute your vision as a writer?
Okay, so I had this meeting in Los Angeles for Madge. That's the series that is currently in consideration at Showtime. And when I went to Showtime Network for the meeting, I realized that they had assigned several other writers to the project, and they have also assigned several other directors. So that's where I got the idea, coming back to Jamaica, being exposed from it over there, coming back to Jamaica. I said, if I'm ever doing an episodic, I would want to give other directors the opportunity to direct, not only because it creates good synergy and good opportunities throughout the industry, but I would be selfish and I probably would have been run down to write, produce, and direct all 5 episodes. So on the 2 days that I got where I didn't have to direct, I actually took one of those days to rest because I was really tired. And I know I am a lupus patient, and I know when I get tired, my body just crashes. So yeah, I wanted to bring on 2 additional directors, and Mark and Kevin, they were up to the task and they did absolutely amazing.
Nice. All right. Well, I mean, any last words? Where if you can remind us where we can see Revelation, if you can remind us what it is about, just in case anybody came in late during this.
Revelation is a limited series. It's about a family who is in lockdown, struggling to find healing after the devastating revelation of so many secrets. And it's available on the Digicel Playgo app.
All right, thanks. So you heard her, everyone. Check out Digicel Playgo, check out Revelation. I know Digicel Playgo has a couple other local content on there.
And they do have some other films of ours on their local section as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good space, and then for other filmmakers, maybe it's a good space to actually try and pitch to in order to get some content done.
Mm.
All right, thanks, Osesio.
Thank you for having me, Jafta.
Thanks. Handing back the mic over to you, Wentworth.
Handing over to me.
You want me to go with Twain's bio?
Yeah, let's go with Twain's bio. Yeah, guys, I saw the person in the chat talking about Revelation and what happened at Superstar. Listen, people, that was the most grilling 1 week of my entire being. I can't remember ever working that hard. But you know, I think like going through everything tonight and just looking at everybody that's talking, even as we go to Twain, like there are great things happening in the industry, and that's the one thing that I want to stand out for everybody. It's not even a particular person; it's just the industry itself and what's happening. And there's so many great things that persons can be a part of, or persons can be motivated to get their projects underway. You know, so. I mean, I'm just very thrilled with all the information that's been passed and all, you know, everything that's happening. So I'm going to just let Said get on with Twain's bio. Twain, where you at, bro?
I'm here in living color.
Yeah.
That's black and white.
That's black and white, though.
Black and white picture came up. All right. So a little bit about Twain. I feel like most people in the industry should know Twain by now. He's done a couple talks for Jafta, but for all the newcomers, Twain Richardson has worked in the post-production industry for over 10 years as an editor and colorist. He has been instrumental to the post-production of award-winning television shows, short films, commercials, music videos, and documentaries, including the Oscar shortlisted documentary, All In, The Fight for Democracy for Amazon Prime. With his extensive years of involvement in post-production, Twain gained a wealth of experience and built a global network, which awarded him the opportunity to demo DaVinci Resolve for Blackmagic Design at NAB 2019. Twain is a member of the Post New York Alliance and sit on their Education Committee and Diversity Committee, and also planned a few key events for the PNYA over the years. In his free time, he enjoys playing tennis, which I beat him in on a weekly basis, by the way. Researching about mechanical watches, watching Formula One racing, and playing football. Well, soccer, but we're going to say football here.
Yeah, I want to let you one. So that you can feel good. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Yeah, man. Yo, it's really great to have you,
Thanks,
bro.
man.
Yeah, like, you know, I remember coming into, you know, getting introduced to the persons in the industry, and then one name that rang out was, they're talking about an editor. You hear an editor, you're like, oh, Link Twain. I'm like, so nobody else in Jamaica can edit. But then, I saw the work and I was like, okay, I understood. I think the first person that I remember seeing this Red Stripe commercial that you had edited, and Darren Scott was DP for it, and then you had edited it, and you guys had to, you know, get it done fast. And I saw it, and he told me the time you guys had to turn it over. I'm like, all right, so I understand what's special about this too, you know, when I saw it. So, you know, I've been admiring your work for a long time, bro. You know, so I want to get to the nice part, but we have to start about this. Yeah, I have to simmer down before I get into you know, the goodness. But how did you get started in all of this? Media. How do you get into media?
Funny thing is, I actually wanted to be a civil engineer. What happened was that leaving high school, my mom couldn't afford to send me to university. So what happened is that, you know, I'm from a, you know, poor family in Spanish town, so I mean, we didn't have much to, you know, go about. So what I used to actually, you know, do selling on the street. So I used to do my little selling, you know, some little phone card and, you know, wash brush and shoes brush and marina and thing. And so, you know, I decided that, you know, I wanted to move away from that. So I got a job at a company to do data entry. So this company was a media company, and so the guys there used to always, you know, show me, they had a camera there, so they used to always show me the camera. I was having a conversation with my mom one evening. I was explaining to her, you know, about the camera. So she was saying to me that, you know, maybe this is something that, you know, you could potentially get into. But you know, I was still wanted to be more civil engineering. So she went and actually did some research and found out that there was CPTC. So we found out that, you know, CPTC had a 3-month production course.
Mm-hmm.
So she kept nagging me about it. And to get her to stop nagging me, I said, you know what, I will just do the course. So you can just stop nagging me. And when I did the course, they actually bring me through the stages of, you know, production, pre-production, production, post-production.
Right.
When we got to post-production, you know, actually, you know, fell in love. So I did the course, and they said that they would have actually a video editing course in a couple, you know, weeks. 1 second, my dog decided that, you know, hey, man, phone, you know, said that more play no fault. And so they said that they had a course coming the following year. And so by this time, I actually started working at the electoral office. So I actually know every evening I would go home, I would watch Hype TV. I would always say cricket name, Michael.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm actually start loving now, so now I'm into it.
Yeah.
So Hype TV had a competition where the prize was that one would actually get to co-host the Up and Live event with Nicky Z. So I entered and actually won. When I won and I went there, I met Johan, you know, the owner for Hype TV, and so I was mentioning to him that, you know, a couple months ago that I actually applied for a camera position here. So he was saying that he actually don't want a camera person, he wants an editor. I was like, well, I know how to edit, which, you know, I didn't know to. So this was a Wednesday. So the Friday I quit my job at the electoral office. And the Monday I started at Hype TV. And then from there, I left Hype TV, started working with Pushname for a few years. And after that, you know, I decided that, you know, I want to start doing something for myself. I started
Well, I just listened to 2 points. You can understand this. Two key frames. First one being civil engineer. I know you're editor. But I think it's somewhere in the middle is where the action always happens. Everybody knows that. I am very impressed with where where you started and where you are, and the one thing, because I've read it in the paper, I've read it a few times, where what you had, what you have had to go through to be where you are now, and that's always your story is always, and it always amazes me, and I'm always so pumped when I hear it, because I'm like, it's Twain who did this and did that, and now he runs a post-production company that's doing all these amazing stuff.
By the
And
way, it is the only post-production company in the English-speaking Caribbean. I checked before I came on.
so the man named Omeric, so him knows that him around the company, he's running the only post-production house in the English-speaking Caribbean. We'll come back to all how we felt a few all of this, but one of the things that I saw when I read, checked on stuff relating to you is it says here that you're an editor, but I'm going to ask you this one question, because persons are a little, so other persons wouldn't even know who is an online editor.
Gotcha. So post-production has a few different roles. So you have visual effects artists, you have compositors, you have colorists, you have the offline editor, you have the online editor, / finishing editor. So offline editing, online editing. So the offline editing is where they craft the story. That's where usually you have the offline editor, basically, the director, the producer, he'll craft the story. He'll make the film what it is. Then now what happens is that the online editor, the offline editor will pass this off to the online editor.
Right.
You then now take what the offline editor did. He has to rebuild it in color program. Then now the online editor pass that off to the colorist. So simply put, a finishing editor / online editor really just one of their key tasks is rebuilding the offline edit. So whatever speed ramps, any changes, because essentially when you're doing offline editing, they're working proxy files. They're not working files that were actually shot in the camera.
Right.
So when we're working on like these big documentaries or big productions or movies, they're editing with say 1080p proxy files.
Okay. All right. So before you even continue with proxy, there are a lot of persons who aren't aware of what a proxy file is. So I want you to, as layman as you can get, just
I can get. Okay.
Yeah, you can get, just break down what is just break down a proxy file.
Okay. So a proxy file is, I'd say in layman terms, it's a file that your computer can play. So when you hear persons saying that the movie is in 4K or it's in 8K, which was shot with, say for instance, an ARRI or a RED, these files can't be played on the computer.
Right.
So usually what happens is that they take these files and they pretty much bring them down to a size where the offline editor, when he's playing these files, he has no hiccups on his computer.
Right. So persons, I'll finish.
Yeah. So I was just saying that the proxy files, online editor will take those proxy files and he'll then now reconnect them to the actual high-res files. So this could be 4K files, 8K files, 12K, etc.
Right.
Pass it off now to the colorist. The colorist does his thing or her thing, then pass it back off now to the online editor who will now do the exports.
Okay. Thank you. So for persons who are wondering how you can get your 4K files edited on your computer hitching, we have to bring Twain in to talk about how you create proxies and that kind of stuff.
I'd definitely love to.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that at some point. Trust me. So, the other day I was on Twitter, and then this tweet just came up and it popped up, and it sent the whole Jamaica film community wild. We found out that Netflix was about to air uh, a project, and then realized that the online editor was Twain. Now, of course, there was a bunch of retweets, a bunch of likes, and we were everybody was very, very, very happy. So I want you to just tell us about that project. Tell us about that. Tell us about that project. It's the Britney Spears project.
Yeah. So the documentary is called Britney versus Spears.
Right.
So a production company is Story Syndicate out of New York. What it is about Britney and the fact that she's having with her dad over the I always can't say this word, conservatorship.
Conservatorship, yes.
That word,
yes.
that big word. Yes. So the documentary pretty much, goes into detail about what took place and what, going forward to happen, which I'm not sure I don't want to spoil it for you, but I mean, it's news out there. I won't spoil it.
This is a big thing. This is like a great thing. We're looking at it from a point of it's Netflix. There's millions of people with Netflix, and then again, this isn't a local production. It's number one. It's not a local production. It's a production done in the US. Now, we have always tied anything done in the US to just being of the ultimate quality. But here it is that this project was done, and you were the online editor. Pretty much you put the finishing touches on this project. How did that make you feel knowing that you were called for this, though?
Well, it's so funny, earlier today, I had to pinch myself because, these are things that, we used to dream of, dreams that, one day we want to get, an Oscar, one of the project that was actually shortlisted, for an Oscar. One day we wanted to do something that's on Netflix. Today I actually bring it up. I still haven't watched it yet because at the time, I don't know if you can see, but my hand's sweating. Every time I talk about it, my hands start sweating, I get nervous. I plan on actually watching it on the platform, but today I actually scroll through and actually check, the credits. Actually see my name.
I think it's amazing. I don't think it's even for you alone. I think it's for everybody. It's for everybody. And what we're most interested in is, I alluded to the fact that this was done by a New York production company in the States. How did this opportunity find you?
So this opportunity has been building a couple years back. Right. So about when I started in the post-production, I'd say about 10 years ago, I learned about Twitter. So when I joined Twitter, and actually found out that there are other editors on Twitter. So they usually have a weekly chat that they call post chat. So that was like Wednesday nights. We used to always go on there. We have a topic and we talk about the topic.
Right.
And so what happened is that I actually wanted to start finding reading about other editors. And so I actually couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. So I decided to actually start, a blog, interviewing other editors. So, I've interviewed the editor for 12 Years a Slave, Inception, Gravity, House of Cards, Modern Family, Empire, X-Men, just name a few. And so in doing that, I found that, other editors actually started following me on Twitter. And so one of the persons that actually followed me, a Jamaican colorist in New York, Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
So we met, we had a few chats, we had some video calls and we did some chatting. And, he said that from time to time, he'd want someone to actually help him on the projects, that he's doing. And Johansson's resume is out of this world.
Right.
So we started doing some smaller projects. So we did some commercials, doing some music videos, and this was all being done remotely. So we were actually doing remote work from every 8 years. I used to remote into his computer in New York. Sometimes I'd send the files to myself here, work on it here, then we kind of kick back to his computer there. So last year, he got brought on to do a project called I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which is a documentary series on the East Area rapists in California from back in the 90s. So that one was actually on HBO.
Right.
So because of how efficient we worked on that project, producers loved, the collaboration, and they decided to bring us on another documentary, which is All In, the Fight for Democracy, which was about, the voting rights in Georgia. And then, so earlier this year, we found out that documentary was actually shortlisted for an Oscar, which, is another amazing milestone.
Yeah.
So they actually had a documentary called Becoming Costume, which is for National Geographic, which is, it's about Jack Cousteau, this famous diver, from back in the days. And so again, that one, they really loved how we worked on that documentary, which was earlier this year. So they said that, hey, they have the Britney documentaries in the offline stages now, and it's almost picture locked. Are you guys available? Which of course we were available. So that's how we got brought into that project.
Yeah, all right. So I hope everybody's like paying attention to a lot of the themes that are played out between from Andrew to Successia to to Twain. This whole thing of networking. That's like a strong thing for everybody I've seen come out tonight. Networking is such a big part of success, because you're not going to do it alone. You have to find persons to connect with. And first of all, I didn't even know that you had a blog.
Yeah. I haven't done anything to it for a few years now.
I figure because you get busy now. And but we're talking about heavy hitters in the editing sphere that you have gotten to talk to, and I had no clue that this was happening. And you have done so much, in within the 10 years, and I'm still like, I'm taken aback by what you have done, and not only just locally, but I'm talking about, seems like you're doing more international work than local work, and that is a very big deal. And apart from you being as skilled as you are, I realize that networking has just been a big thing for you. And so we're just like very blown away, and we're very stoked, and we're very happy for all that you have done for yourself and also for the industry at large, just to show that Jamaicans are doing great things. And Britney Spears is one of the biggest names ever in entertainment ever. So knowing that everybody's going to jump on this, everybody's going to see Twain name, and then I'm going to find Twain and realize where Jamaican come from. Hello. So it's a trickle down effect, and I know that more persons will benefit, but they have to put themselves in the position. That's what you have been saying, and I've been listening keenly, and we're just so proud of you. And with all of this that's happening, what's next for Twain?
Well, next is that, of course, looking to push even further into the international market. Also, what's big is that so I'm also big on actually passing on the knowledge, that I've gained, passing it on to others. For the past 4 years, my wife and I, we put on a workshop called Go Jamaica, where we actually go to the high schools,
right,
and we introduce them to filmmaking. So we have a 3 days. So usually we have a workshop. We will bring in a fellow filmmaker from the industry to come and talk to them about, say, for instance, the production side, and then we'll talk to them about the post-production side, talk to them about the business side, and then, you know, we'll have them do, you know, use their cell phones, make a short film, and then so we would grade that, hand out prizes, some of the prizes about, you know, internships at our company, you know, doing posts for some of these students as well. Also, we've given out, I think 1 year we gave out like a scholarship for Karma. So we've done, you know, that, and we're just, you know, pushing more into that, you know, going more into the high schools and actually educating, you know, the kids that, you know, you can make a living from, you know, filmmaking, you know, growing up, you know, all I heard about was, you know, doctors, lawyers, and I'm not saying that you don't need doctors like that.
Yeah.
But as well, I never knew that, you know, you want to make a living from being, you know, an editor or colorist. When I interact with my peers abroad, you know, I know persons that all they do is just visual effects. You know, I know persons that all they do is just offline editing or online editing. These are persons who are, you know, living comfortably. So that's one of the things that I'm big on is, you know, pushing that, you know, going into high schools and introducing this to students.
I think because of your experience, it hits closer home for you, and I can understand your, you know, your endeavors for workshop and, you know, that kind of that stuff where you're, you know, showing the next generation what's possible. So this is just really exemplary, and I am very happy to hear this because, you know, and even being the chair of the committee that deals with outreach and training, definitely going to find a way to link with, you know, for us to work together to
Sure.
you know, assist more youths and even persons within the industry who want to do more and want to be better at what they're doing. And I know that you, with what you're doing, it would really go a far way, you know.
Sorry to cut you. I feel so good whenever, you know, somebody, you know, like a client calls and they're saying, hey, okay, all right, we want some editing. All right, oh, we're going to do the color art. You know, somebody doing a production and they call and say, hey, you know, we want to shoot this way. You know, the thing do make sense. The color it this way. And, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, you know, persons weren't considering color. You know, and that's part of the educational drive that, you know, that I've taken on and push here. It's like that, make sure that everybody has something that now this needs to get some coloring. Whether you're going to pay me for color or not, we're going down and we're going to go through a color session and we're going to add some color to it. You know, when you learn about color, then you need to tell somebody else about it.
Yeah, man, continue.
Yeah. The industry here, we are, you know, on a growth trajectory. I find that, you know, persons they weren't thinking about color. Persons were actually even thinking about post. But then, you know, they went on the shoot, and then they said, okay, they want some editing. And now we actually have persons, you know, calling and saying, oh, we're going to shoot this. What do you think about this? So persons actually getting post involved from the pre-production stage, which is something I'm very glad for that.
Bro, I'm very happy for all the initiatives you have taken and like the body of work that you've been doing, especially, you know, when I've seen most of the tweets and most of the social media posts with things that you've worked on, and, you know, even the Oscar thing came about, that was also another big moment. You know, it's like I want to win, you know, it's like another Jamaican, you know, it's one away. And
I felt like I was one of our track stars at the Olympics.
Yeah, bro, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I imagine how it feels. How it feels for us, and I know everybody can agree with me that that's exactly how it feels when we see persons operating at the highest level, especially in the film industry. We're a little bit out of the infancy stage, and we, you know, there's a way to go. But with the work that you are doing, the work that other persons within the industry are doing, we are really growing steadily, and I know we'll get better. And we are so thankful for your contribution. You know, you have uplifted yourself, and through uplifting yourself, you have been uplifting others. And we are very thankful, you know. And I mean, just briefly, like there are persons who want to do this. I know you will participate in some workshop and you will help some people for each certain levels, you know. But what would you say to somebody? It's always important to just tell them, because you know, like one thing, COVID come in and people feel mashed up on a bag of things. Like, but how do you still advise somebody like, listen, who wants to do this, and they're like, all right, I want to do this, but I don't see the way. How am I going to do it? What would you say to them?
Well, I'd say first is that, you know, you never give up. That's the very first thing. You know, I can tell you some things that, you know, I went through trying to get to this stage. You know, it's just not giving up and just pushing on. I mean, I remember when, like, you know, just start a company. You know, when nights when I don't have food to eat, as every single dollar we're put back into the company. You know, trying to get equipment. Like I started the company with a 17-inch MacBook Pro and a Firewire hard drive, and to now, you know, we have computers, etc. So it's just not giving up. You know, just pushing on. In the moment, it definitely feels like, you know, there's no better, there's no tomorrow. But trust me, I mean, I am here as an example. That, you know, that. Also, that, you know, we're living in a time now where information is there. Like I think probably almost like 90% of everyone have a smartphone now, and you literally go on YouTube, type in how to edit video or how to color video, and there's information that will, you know, come up, some good information that you can use. Cell phones, you know, go and shoot some video, edit, you know, trying some practice. When I did fully start getting to it, I have a family PC at the house. I used to use Windows Movie Maker and chose the family pictures together and try to something, you know. So yeah, I'd say the information is there. Go on the internet, do some research, and also the reality of it is that you want to build a reel, you're going to have to do some free work.
Yeah.
Like I did the free work so that I can, you know, get the reel, because eventually, I mean, if you want to get to a certain level, you have to have some form of experience. And outside of you practicing, you know, you do the shooting, you have to get like some actual real world projects under your belt. And the reality is that you might have to do a one free project here, you might have to do a one low budget project here, and you might have to help out a friend get his project or her project complete. Yeah, man, just aim for the stars and just never give up.
Bro, I am very happy that you even took the time out to be here, because we know you're busy now, and we know that it's only up from here for you, and we are very happy for you, proud, and I hope everybody put it in the box. Just say how you feel about, just tell Twain how you feel so you can read it and know that he's really appreciated the work he's doing, is noticed, and we are very happy for him. You know, we're proud of you, bro. And when I know that you'll be one of the persons to help drive this industry in the direction that it needs to go, you know, and we are eternally grateful for your time, and we are again hoping that we'll get you in more sessions like this and some face-to-face as the time place is opening up for us to have more persons doing what you're doing at the level that you're doing, you know. And we are so proud of your growth, and we have expanded your horizon and all that. I don't know what to say more than, man, just keep on doing great stuff, and we are really, really happy and proud of you, you know. And Saeed, you want to throw in a 5 cent, man? Where are you going? You just left me here. Yeah.
Don't worry, Saeed. Next time I'm going to give you the next game of tennis.
That's how man. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, I have Saeed. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I feel like you are handling it really well. So you never really need my assistance. But no, big up yourself, Twin. I share the same sentiments as Wentworth. To be working on these major major productions, I think is very impressive. And I think as you continue to share your skill set and continue to share your experience, it can only be growth for our industry and growth for our content as well. So, yeah, man, definitely thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So unfortunately, Andrew had to leave, but it's just a short question and answer session. Does anyone have any questions for Successor or Twin? You can shoot them in the chat, or you can raise your hand. Huh? Okay, so Kevin, so there's a question from Kevin Jackson to Successor. Kevin is asking, what's next?
So next project is going to be a really interesting one. I have a feature film coming up, which is the 5-star General Bounty Killer himself. I've signed on to be the lead character, so that's the next project, Kevin.
So I feel like we have to have another meeting just about that, like how you even get for Bounty Killer to be a part of your project.
Well, a friend of mine approached me because he has always been a storyteller himself. I don't know if anybody is familiar with 90. He's always doing his Facebook videos, and he grew very popular doing those Facebook videos. And so he knows Bounty Killer, being that they're a part of the dancehall fraternity. So he kept shooting the story ideas to Bounty, and he was like, okay, if the story makes sense, then I will come on board. And so he asked me to put the script together, and Bounty really liked it, represented something he himself represents, and so he says, yes, definitely go ahead with this one.
Nice. Excited to see what comes out of that. All right. Any other questions for either Twin or Successor? All right, going once, going twice. So it seems as if your presentations were very thorough. So moving on, everyone, to any other business. Before we close off, I just want everyone to know that today is the deadline day for the feature film lab tonight at 12. What you're asking about Torino, Kevin? But until I get to there. So yeah, today is the final deadline for feature film labs. The deadline is at 12. Also, for the Spotlight Initiative, we have selected our 4 participants. However, we won't be revealing them today. So a little bit of attention, we'll reveal them soon. No, Kevin, so Kevin is asking if Torino is the deadline that I speak of. No, it's the British Council Feature Film Lab. My apologies, should have said that. So it's the British Council Feature Film Lab, and that's the collaboration with Jafta and Jampro. Otherwise, we have some other great news. I want to congratulate the Traytown team of Nadine Rollins and Lette Williams in winning the Audience Choice Awards today at the Creators of Color, the big pitch put on by Caribbean Tales in association with TIFF. So big up Nadine and Lette, congratulations. Yeah, Before I close off, I just want to hand over to Sean Neal to give us an update on membership. Sean Neal?
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Saeed. And before I jump into it, I just want to say those presentations were absolutely excellent. Just like Wentworth and everybody else here, I'm beaming with pride. I'm super proud of everyone, and just, I'm just excited that our industry is just representing so well. Congrats again to everybody that presented today. So I'll make it brief. So the quick update as regards to, so of course, just to remind you guys, I am the chair for membership and wellness. And I just wanted to give a quick update as regarding to the recent applications and other processing health insurance, etc. I just wanted to apologize for the delays, and we're still going through our transition. Asking you to bear with me a little bit. By next week, everybody that have reached out will get an update. We're still kind of deciphering through the information. So just bear with me, but I just wanted to give a quick update on that. So we've received, once you've filled out that application form, we've received it, and once you've sent in that query, etc., we've definitely received it. We just, as I mentioned, just going through a few things, and I'm just asking for some time. So by next week, everybody should get an update who have asked for updates. So thank you guys for your patience and your understanding. Back to you, Saeed.
Thanks, Sean Neal. So yeah, I mean, just wrapping up, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everyone who came to speak. Thank you, Wentworth. I think the interviews are great, and I'm really proud to say that I'm amongst such talented folks in our industry. And yeah, enjoy your weekend, everyone, and enjoy the upcoming month. That's a wrap.
All right, thank you. All right.
Good job. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.